Hey, Sumo, can I be honest with you?
About what?
Can I be transparent for a second?
What's that?
I don't think I've really watched that intro for a while. What the fuck was those goddamn hoes in this video? Like, wait a minute.
You made it.
I know, right?
Your choice. That was your choice.
What the hell was I thinking? Hiring them chicks.
Goddamn, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what you were smoking that day.
Sumo.
We've had this. We've had numerous discussions about this for you to.
I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to make a phone call. What the hell are y'all doing line dancing for? I didn't set my daggone radar back. I can see why now. You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting all the money that they're supposed to be giving me. God dang it. Well, hello. Welcome to the CM Nubian Sumo punkish version of the Saturday Night Wrestlemaniacs, where we cover, I don't know, maybe this afternoon pay-per-view that ended up being Night of Champions or premium live event that ended up being Night of Champions that aired earlier this afternoon, coming out of Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. If you weren't sure or not sure for the first time, never been sure, can't get sure, don't know, I'll be sure, we're still the Wrestlemaniacs. I can guarantee you that. I'm the People's Choice Don Rodriguez. This is the Nubian Sumo. Somewhere out there in whatever the hell land is the big guy KG. Not sure where he is. He may show up. He may not show up. We don't know. You know, we just fly by night on that one on a Saturday night. You know, sometimes people are at the bus stop when the mothership is coming up to get picked up, and other people got to catch an Uber. That's just what happens. But you got us to get this party started. So happy Saturday. Hopefully y'all got a chance to take some of your afternoon to be able to spend it watching some WWE action, so that way you could take the evening to wrap it up and see us. Sumo, what'd you think of the pay-per-view overall?
It was a decent pay-per-view. At least they I'm glad they was able to fix their power outage situation.
Yeah, you think they ain't paid a bill, or you think there was something else going on? A little terrorism?
I don't know.
A little creative shut it down?
I'm still thinking that camel chewed through the cable.
Did you get a chance to tally up? I'm sorry. The one person, you know, naturally that's in charge now is looking kind of suspect as well. The one guy that had one job to make sure that we're calibrating and we're tallying up to see who won the picks, conveniently is not here. I don't think I won. I'm going to be honest with you.
I think I won.
I honestly, I hate to say it, but I believe so.
I believe I won because we had one that we all picked together.
That was Cena.
We all had the same pick. I know I won one. I know I
won
lost
one that we didn't pick, that I didn't go with. It was Cody and Orton, I believe. You picked Cody, right?
I picked the opposite of Randy. That's what I did.
Right. Because we know which way it would go. But
I didn't pick Randy. My original pick was Jay.
Right.
But I knew I didn't want to pick Randy. So, but y'all picked Randy. So yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the one that gave it to you. Because we all.
And then I lost to Jade. Because I picked Oscar.
Right.
To win Queen of the Ring. But I'm trying to remember if I would pick Solo. If I pick Solo, then yeah, I won. I want to say I picked Solo.
I think you may have, because I think
y'all picked you two
picked Jacob because of interference. Yeah, I think you were a counter guy going against everything.
Right.
So with that being said, or at least if the two of us are in general consensus that, you know, somebody, a third member of the show lost, that so happens to be the former Le Champion magically ain't here.
It's the one and done.
What was that? What show? What was it? Martin? Or was it? No, it was Arsenio. Wasn't Arsenio with things that make you go, Was that
Right?
Arsenio?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little bit of creative things going on out there, and a WrestleManiac pick land. What is happening? It's a little tragic. I think we may have to levy a fine or something. We're gonna have to talk to Jack Tunney about this. Talk to the boss. Like, he can't be over there skating on the show when he's supposed to eat the crow. When he was the one that set the whole thing in motion for the picks. That's your boy. That is your boy. But either way, with that being said, I guess we could pretty much, lock in at the Nubian Sumo somehow, some way, end up, being a wiener. So congratulations to the Sumo. That also means that we got some really interesting things going down when it comes down to the King and Queen of the Ring. As you've already said, Jade Cargill, which we were pretty much all in consensus. Jade Cargill is your new Women's King of the Ring. What do you think about this? The fact that the King of the Ring,
women's King of the Ring,
Queen of the Ring. I'm sorry, I'm still on just the name of the pay-per-view.
Look, it's bad enough that Saudi Arabia is shit all over the women and the black folks in this pay-per-view. Okay, they don't need any help.
Well, I was looking at it. It's always just Freudian slip. Thinking King of the Ring, as I was pulling up this graphic here to be able to share with the folks, because this is a interesting post. She's enjoying some rarefied air when it comes down to of the ring. We'll just call it, king or royalty of the ring, I guess. Joining King Mabel, King Booker, King. Well, he was just King Woods, right? They didn't call him Xavier. Was just King Woods?
King Xavier.
Was it King Xavier?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you've got your Queen of the Ring, Jade. Now, what I was going to ask you was, what's your thoughts about, the other three here all had to work for an opportunity when it came down to a next level championship. Jade has won at SummerSlam. We mentioned already, Cody has won at SummerSlam. Do you think that this is how it should always be, where the King and the Queen of the Ring get a guaranteed title shot, so it makes it actually worth something? Or do you like it to where it's just that moniker that they can just carry around and leverage however? To which only, as it stands right now, one out of these four, sorry, Jay, I know you just got it, but one out of these four African-American, pieces of royalty here actually created a lane for themselves. But what's your thoughts on that?
Well, it does give the actual title purpose. It gives them something to work toward. They should be able. I would make it more so. Well, you can't really. Well, yeah, I would make, since they're talking about getting rid of Money in the Bank.
Mm-hmm.
I would put that Money in the Bank caveat on the King and Queen of the Ring.
That's a good idea.
So the King and Queen of the Ring has the right to call their shot whenever they want, without having a briefcase. They just say, but do it more so. Do it more so like they did it in Lucha Underground. Okay. You have to give them You have to give at least 1 week's notice. They can promote it,
right? But would you miss the excitement with the exception of Seth Rollins tonight, the rundown with the briefcase and bringing the ref along and that whole just imagery. I think that's part of the fun with the Money in the Bank. If it's gone, just show up. I'm going to challenge you now. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, but it's not like it hasn't been done.
Remember, right? No, I agree with you.
Yeah, Rob Van Dam did it.
Yeah,
Rob Van Dam called his shot for one night stand a month before it actually had the match happen.
True.
And so you had all that build up to where it was going to make it that much more of a match. Not to mention the fact that they were going to be in 2300 Arena.
Mm-hmm.
And he was already going to be Cena was already going to be at a disadvantage, being in that crowd. So I mean, you can do it kind of like an option C with the like TNA has with the X Division belt. I mean, there are plenty of options you could use. Because even though you have it that way, you can still probably do it,
Yeah.
I mean, you don't necessarily have to say that it has to be a week in advance like Lucha Underground did, but you could leave all of those options open to where you could do it at any time, or you can call your shot, whatever the case. Say, right. I know we have a show in my hometown. I want to be able to win the belt in my hometown. This is when I want to cash in. This is when I want to.
Excuse me.
This is when I want to call my shot.
So, if let's say they cash in and win, does that mean that they're no longer the king or queen of the ring?
No, you still keep the title for a year.
Okay.
But you get that one shot. You get that one shot whenever you want
it. Okay. Well, congratulations to Jade Cargill. What's your thoughts on, the match?
The match was pretty good. Oscar carried it pretty well for him. Got everything, kept everything moving, kept everything smooth. I didn't see really too many glitches, in it. Anything that really stood out. I'm not in the ring. I'm not trained, so I'm just going by what I know. But
right.
But for the most part, it was a pretty good match. Oscar made Jade look pretty good.
Yeah, I thought they told a great story as well. Really, it's always with the height situation: Rhea versus anybody, Raquel versus anybody, Jade versus anybody. It's how do you nullify the height? And I thought Oscar did a great job of nullifying the height issue. And then they used the power issue of Jade in the right way. Now, the finish, I thought it could have been a little tighter. It seemed like it was kind of rushed towards the end, or just wasn't cleaned up enough. But overall, I thought, okay, it's not too bad. When it came down, that's just me nitpicking on it, being a fan, a smart mark. But outside of that, nothing really to complain about. But let's flip over to the other part of the ring, and that being the king of the ring officially, with Cody Rhodes going up against your boy Randy. And how did you think that match played out? We know Cody went over. He's the new king of the ring. I'm not happy about it, but he won. It is what it is. What's your thoughts?
You had to know Cody was going to win that if they put him in it.
But he didn't need to.
He doesn't need to, but you knew it was going to happen. I mean, how many times has Cody gone into Saudi Arabia and not come out smelling like a rose?
True.
Well, can I say something? I just wanted to jump in and say something, fellas. First of
What you
all,
doing
good
here?
evening. Cause I'm here. I'm on my way home, man. But I'm here. But I just want to say something. They trying to bring prestige back to the King of the Ring. So it's not just a BS tournament anymore. I think they're gonna bring prestige back to it. If you got a name like Cody Rhodes winning the King of the Ring, I think you're trying to bring prestige back to it and build it back up to what it is. Hopefully, they do the same thing with Bash at the Beach. But I got nothing to say. Like this is, I guess we giving Nubian Sumo his flowers.
I
I'll
don't
give him
know.
his flowers.
Are we?
Are we? I see the background says Nubian Sumo. So I mean, what is that?
Well, I don't know. Well, you weren't here. There was you weren't here to relinquish your championship. We kind of tallied on our own that Sumo may have won this one.
Oh come on! I think he did though. I got to go back. I'm going to the house now to do the recount. So I know you guys ain't gonna be off the air in no 15, 20 minutes. So I will go through, look at everything, and I
Eat
will be
dinner.
back with you momentarily. But I just wanted to say it's a good thing that Cody won, and even if Sumo did win, I mean,
You ain't even pick Cody.
I don't have to pick Cody to say it's a good thing.
You don't even go here.
No love whatsoever. I'm trying to get Sumo his flowers, and you won't let me.
Oh man, I just always
But no,
want to.
I'm on my way home. I'm gonna jump off. I'm gonna go in the house. I'm gonna do the tally before you get off air. We'll announce and new or and still, and then we'll
I
go
don't know
from
about
there.
the end still. I don't know about the end still. I had to go ahead and eat crow on that one too. I know I didn't win.
Mm.
Like I said,
Let me look
I
at some
want it to be
things.
Randy Orton.
Let me look at
Cody
some
doesn't need it.
things.
Randy needs something. I mean, Cena is, he's got the upper echelon, the 17 never seen. Cody is still going to get the belt back at some point. He's just Cody. He's going to get the belt back. He can win King of the Ring again. I mean, not King of the Ring, Royal Rumble if he wanted to. But Randy's out there just in the wilderness.
Hey, he might. Where's Royal Rumble gonna be?
That's true. That's what I'm saying. Why can't y'all give this to Randy Orton? Come on, think about it. An RKO out of nowhere, 1, 2, 3, he becomes champion. That would be better than the running down with the Money in the Bank briefcase or anything else.
But then look what they did. They're switching roles now.
Yeah.
They switch roles. I mean, you got Randy Orton, who's in prime position to do the punt,
Mm-hmm.
and he hesitates. And it cost him the match. Just like when Cody was supposed to hit John Cena with the chair and didn't do it.
Yep.
And wound up losing the belt.
Yeah. You think this is the subtle catalyst to heel Cody? Or not yet?
No. Hey, Cody's already said in an interview. He did an interview not too long ago. He said he's got 1 to 3 more years to be a babyface.
And then he's going to heel out on his finale run?
Then he's going to turn into Homelander.
Will it matter to be Homelander at that point? The boys will be probably done. He should have walked in as Homelander. What do you think about that?
He walks into every match as Homelander. You see his outfit?
No, I'm saying, should he, if you could go back and redo it over, would you have brought him back as heel Cody first?
No.
Really? Not at all?
No, he would have had to come in as babyface Cody. He wouldn't have the finishing the storyline wouldn't have worked as a heel. He would have had to do it as a babyface. It would have been more effective as a babyface.
Let me pose it to you this way. if Roman wasn't at the level that he was, if he wasn't the tribal chief, if we didn't have the bloodline at the level that it was, because I think that's the only reason why finishing the story worked. Really wasn't the Cody side, it was Roman, because he was in God mode. But if we were just coming back and it was just, Seth Rollins, not disrespect to Seth Rollins, but Seth Rollins was the champion and Cody's just coming back, would you still go with face Cody and finish the story, or would you go heel Cody?
I still go face Cody.
Why?
Because Seth would have been a heel, and you needed, in that situation, you needed a face versus a heel. You couldn't do heel versus heel.
Okay, but that also would have meant that Cody would have won at the first WrestleMania that he was back at, instead of it taking 2 years. You'd have had to have beaten Seth, right?
Not necessarily.
What do you want? I mean, you think he would just get screwed over? Because Seth was solo.
What's the point of having a redemption story without a journey?
Okay.
You have to show what you go through in order to get to that point where it makes it what it was. It became what it was.
Right.
So you had to build that up. Just the whole thing about bringing up all of the stuff with his father, and bringing up all the things that he had to do to endure during his time in the Indies, having to go to these small venues and whatnot, pretty much start all over from the bottom, from the beginning. Having to live life almost like his father.
True.
Because he coming up through the Indies and whatnot is almost like coming up through the territories. He went from fed to fed to fed, trying to build up his name, and he had to do it without his last name.
Right.
He had to do it as Cody. He couldn't do it as Cody Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
So
or Cody Runnels.
Yeah. So he had a struggle. And he had to present that struggle to show that, this is what I've been through. This is what I've endured. I've grown up. I've become a man in this situation. I'm a different person. I'm not the same person that I was when I took off that Stardust makeup.
Okay.
So here's the person that I am now. He had pretty much had to reintroduce himself.
Jay-Z, pun intended.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. No, I'm just playing devil's advocate, just asking, some general questions. Sometimes you think about, well, what could have happened if things would have been different, or, if you could turn back the hands of time, would you do something different? So, okay.
Now, if there was nobody, if they were looking for somebody to come in and say, we need a new face. We need a new face to come in and take over and become the new face of WWE. Then I would make Cody a heel, because he could have played off of the destroying the throne with the sledgehammer. He could have brought up, hey, I hate this place. I hate this place. I hate this place so much that I left it and I started my own company just to stay away from this place.
And then I hate it even more that I'm coming back to tell y'all about it.
And y'all did everything that y'all could to shut me down and to keep me away. But now I'm back and I'm here to shut this place down. I'm here to end the WWE as we know it.
No, I like it. One thing I didn't get a chance to do, and I apologize, so we want to make sure I give credit where credit is due. Shout out to D'Lo Brown for his X post. Love the graphics, so that's why I went ahead and used it. So thank you, D'Lo. Make sure he's got his own podcast, The Lowdown, so you can check that out at podcast. He at wrestling.com. Podcast Heat. Sorry, Podcast Heat Wrestling.com. So you can take a look at the lowdown there. So thank you, D'Lo. We always support and are big fans of D'Lo Brown. Still, arguably one of the best intercontinental champions out there, best workers out there, best minds out there, and the strongest neck out of anybody. So thank you, D'Lo. We appreciate you. All right, so we've covered the king and the queen of the ring. There was some matches that were slid in. One of them was Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross. At first, I wasn't sure how the crowd over there would react to Karrion Kross. I mean, it was an okay intro. They popped just enough, but I like the way they framed his intro, because at first I was like, why is Scarlett moving so fast? She's not milking the song. She's just trying to get there. But
it was a long ramp.
Yeah, that ending when she got to where she needed to be, and Fall and Pray happened, the music kicked in, and he just popped up. Like, man, that was good TV. That was a great shot.
But that's how the interest has always been, and even in NXT.
Well, they shot it in different angles. This one was the first time I've seen it where the cameraman was shooting up. So when it pulled away from when she said "Fall and Pray," and then he popped into the camera shot, then it was that look up, and then they had to pop and went straight into color from black and white. It just made him look like $1 million. And I was like, man,
they didn't include her in the final shot, which is what got me,
right.
though. They usually include her in the final in that final shot, but they didn't do that this time.
I like that treatment. I think that should be the go forward. Nothing, I mean, she's already part of all of it, but that made it look like, okay, he's going to hurt. He's going to hurt Sami Zayn. Do you think Sami is just always going to be? Is he like the what's that guy? The Mansoor, where you're always going to see Sami at a Saudi show?
I believe so.
He's a standard.
Yeah.
Do you think that he's going to win the championship in Saudi Arabia versus the U.S.? That's what I thought. I was like,
see that.
They probably give him the belt at the Rumble or something like that, and build him up as a Sami Mania story, kind of like they did with Kofi Mania, and then he would just go over at whatever event's happening in Saudi.
I can see them giving him the world championship in Saudi.
You think would be who do you think his opponent would be? For me, I just hope it has to be, in my opinion, Kevin Owens.
You want that to happen?
For him to beat Kevin?
For him to beat Kevin? Because
I want the aftermath.
You don't get Sami beating Kevin in significant matches.
I know, but that's what I want, because I want the aftermath. I want it to be that look over, especially coming out of the What Do You Want to Talk About podcast that Kevin Owens did with Cody Rhodes, where he was talking about how he had to cut a promo at the Performance Center, but the promo he was cutting was against Sami Zayn, because he was jealous that Sami got signed first.
Right.
So with that being out there, that's something they could call back to. But it's that, that Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero moment at WrestleMania 21. That's what I would want to have. Yes, Kevin Owens would have lost the championship, but he had to acknowledge and be happy for Sami. They would have had to have hug it out. KO would walk off. It wouldn't be hold the arm up and do all that pomp and circumstance, but he would at least, celebrate with Sami and then leave Sami in the ring to go ahead and, just soak up the moment. I would want that visual at the end of the pay-per-view or premium live event. That's why I would pick KO. But who would you pick?
KO would be a good pick. Jey Uso would be a good pick.
Yeah. What about Roman? You think Roman would put him over? And Saudi.
I'm thinking Roman would put him over.
Yeah.
But I would have to see what this new Roman is going to be, though.
Right.
Because they're talking about repackaging him. So
I know. And I think he's got to go to Raw.
They're giving him the Undertaker treatment. They're going to try to put together something that combines the tribal chief and the big dog without making them that. You know what I'm saying?
What would you do? You're a great wrestling mind. What would you do? Because they can't go too far, in my opinion, off the reservation.
Well, if they're going to do that, you know, they're talking like they're going to do like a retrospective of his career. So they want to do a combination of, from what I've read, they're talking about doing a combination of the big dog and the tribal chief with a Shield group included. So they're talking about bringing in 2 other people with him when he comes back. So, and they're doing like a Shield type faction. So it would kind of depend on who he brings with him. Now, who would he bring with him?
I don't know, because is it going to be family or not family?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Would it be if it's not family? Who could it be? Because it's supposed to be some new people. Now
NXT call ups.
NXT. It would have to be NXT call ups. I'm thinking it could. Now they could go outside the box, and they could bring in Zilla and Journey.
Yeah,
because they've been talking about bringing those 2 guys up.
I think the guy, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, that won the male side of Legends of Future Greats LFG. I think he would be somebody good after his program.
Talking about Jasper Troy.
Yep.
Yeah, he would be good.
He could get that strong rub as the heater, and just the overall big guy. Ethan Page, if they wanted to be different. Or depending on what the flavor of the group is, they could do Ricky Saints.
No.
Depending on the flavor of the group.
No.
I mean, it just depends on how bloodline-ish they want to go. If they don't want to go super bloodline-ish.
They don't want to go bloodline at all, I don't think. I mean,
in reference to the vibe of how they come out.
They want to keep they probably want to keep the faction in the family, of course, but they're trying to shy away from the bloodline storyline. They're trying to kill off the bloodline storyline.
What if he just takes over that? What is it, Black? The group that they already have that's out there. It's been in TNA and stuff like that, and it's an NXT that Black.
Dark State.
Dark State, yeah. What if he's the mastermind behind Dark State? That's ready-made. Because here's the other thing we have to think about: if he's, going to go that route and they're going to repackage and go in that vein. He's got another movie coming up. He's got to start shooting. He's been, selected for Street Fighter. He's going to be playing Akuma. So he's going to have to go to Hollywood to film that. He's going to have to train for that. That's a huge role. So he doesn't have that much time to be in and then be out.
I thought they were going to do that. I thought they were going to give Dark State to Trick Williams.
I thought they were going to give him the set.
No, I kind of figured they were going to do like a Dangerous Alliance type situation with Seth.
Yeah, and I'm cool with it. But think about Seth with his own Shield.
That's what he's got now.
No, he just got two muscle bound, just monsters. But it's not a Shield. It's not a backstage segment that he just gives a look, and then next thing you know, they're just coming down and they're just jumping somebody. That level of Shield. The Nexus beatdown level of Shield. Not okay. I'm gonna send out Mateo, or I'm gonna send out Bronson Reed, or the big dog. It's like it's just a faction, but not the Shield or Shield-esque. That's what I was like, under Seth, he could cut the promo. They don't have to speak. They just go out there and beat down. But if Roman has that, he would speak, and they just go out there and beat down. You just had to make sense as to why, but it can't be on SmackDown because we'd basically be rehashing the same thing. So, Solo's creating still his whatever line 2.3.0, I guess now, with Hikuleo coming in, or what was it? Tala Tonga, I believe is what they're renaming him as.
Yeah, well, it depends on how you pronounce it. Is it Tala or Tala? Because I'm thinking it's going to be Tala as a play on words.
Yeah,
the Tala Tonga.
I see that. I still think Hikuleo is a lot more menacing. I think that make for a great shirt. But hey, I don't make those decisions. Repackage, rename, make it something that you can make money off of. We know how the machine works.
Yeah, they don't want to use anybody's real name. They got to have something they can trademark and copyright.
Yeah. Thanks, John Cena. But the interesting thing is, John Cena was all for it. He's like, hey, whatever. But they just don't want to do it anymore because it's John Cena.
Yeah, he didn't care. He was going to be able to use his name regardless. I mean, some people can get away with that, Some people get, Kurt Angle, who else? There's a few others out there like that. So I mean, you basically you're working off of your name.
Right.
They probably could come up with a better name. So yeah, just let John Cena's original. It sounds like something we would have made up anyway. So
yeah, But he could have stayed the prototype.
How long can you be the prototype, really?
How long is Roxanne Perez going to be the prodigy?
Well, you can always be the prodigy because you started out as the prodigy.
Yeah,
but I mean the prototype. There's with a prototype. There's always a better version.
No, don't tell John Cena that, because then he may start thinking about the class he graduated from. Like, what you trying to say? You trying to say Randy was a better version, or this person or that person? But I see what you're saying. I'm just playing devil's advocate, being annoying with it. So the last match that we need to touch on was the street fight, which could have been a little bit more, but it was Rhea Ripley versus technically Roxanne Perez and oh Lord, what's her name?
Raquel Rodriguez.
Raquel Rodriguez. Too many R's. Raquel Rodriguez. I was not expecting Rhea to win that daggone match.
Why?
Because again, she don't need to. That to me, that was like, okay, we got this match. It just came out of nowhere. It's just being added. What is she getting out of it? She can afford to lose it. It could be it's a street fight.
It's not like you're really pushing Raquel Rodriguez. Roxanne.
Right.
Well,
you're pushing.
Actually, I'm right in saying that because saying Rodriguez is about to be what's about to happen. So I mean, yeah, I mean they're not really necessarily pushing Raquel Rodriguez. They're not gonna put her in a singles title match
No,
title situation.
I think it's a vehicle for Roxanne Perez.
You're going to end up giving Liv's belt to Roxanne Perez at some point. You know, they're going to do the same thing with Roxanne Perez they did with Liv Morgan.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Mommy didn't need to win that one because the whole thing is predicated off of Roxanne Perez getting the rub and the come up. And that's the storyline. Now you could build that story because now Mommy is mad at Roxanne because she lost a match, wasn't supposed to. But again, it's a street fight. Hello. You know, it's not like she beat her one-on-one. So you lost in a street fight. She's mad about it. Now she still wants her revenge on the Judgment Day, which now has Roxanne Perez, Raquel Rodriguez. Now she's got a beef. There's something going on there. Rhea has something to sink her teeth into. Maybe, you know, she can get some help from somebody here or there, you know, for the tag team, you know, or something like that. You know, just you could call somebody, work it out however you choose to. But that's why I thought she would be okay with losing.
This was just a match to get Raquel Rodriguez out of the way so she can go back after Io Sky.
I guess.
This is just one of those in between storylines, you know, to try to since Io Sky wasn't going to be there,
right?
They didn't even mention her name at all during this pay-per-view. So, you know, it was just a way of getting giving Rhea something to do because she's money,
right?
She's a money maker. You know, the only woman in the whole pay-per-view to get a pop of any kind.
Mm-hmm.
Because of who she is, what she's made herself into. So
I think she's about to start transitioning into some movies as well. Something's coming in her way. Liv she's just done one. I think it's Rhea's time. Or I think it's also time for Rhea to step away. Don't know why or how, but I think, you know, we're getting close to over Rhea, where, you know, she's there a lot. You know, we just need a break. So that way when she comes back, you know, she always comes back and the pop gets bigger and bigger. The crowd gets more excited. I just don't want it to get stale because the Dom thing worked. That bought a lot of time. But now I think we're kind of in between with the character. Like Damian Priest, we're in between with the character. We need something new, something, you know, fresh. And with Liv gone, I don't see Io being that person. I mean, you tell me. Do you think that, you know, they could continue with more Rhea Ripley, you know, week after week, month after month, and it still be as exciting and outside of the intro and her entrance? Or do you think she's
because you
take a break?
Yeah, no, I mean, she will eventually need to go away for a minute. You know, she didn't really have a honeymoon with Buddy, so I'm sure they want to take some time to themselves at some point. And
right,
you know, and as you always like to bring up, you know, babies are going to be talked about at some point. So, you know, she has talked about wanting to have a child with Buddy. So it's going to come to a point where it's going to happen. But now,
his schedule is not helping out either.
But he's hurt.
Is he?
Yeah, he's hurting. He's talked about it recently. How he got hurt. He got hurt. That's why he's been gone so long from AEW, because he's been hurt. Because they started that Hounds of Hell thing after the House of Black broke up,
right?
And then he wound up getting hurt. And he said in the interview, I think I forget who the interview was with. It might have been with Sportskeeda or somebody, but he said that he was on a nice little run as far as healing, but then everything reverted back to the way it was from the start, and he had to pretty much start all over. So he's been having a lot of complications with his injury. But he's just been trying to deal with it and trying to get back into the ring. So it's taking a little longer than he thought it would. He said it was supposed to be like 3 to 6 months, and it's going on almost a year now.
Right.
So it's gonna be a while before he can come back. And we don't know what his contract situation is going to be. Are they going to end his contract once he's able to come back? Are they going to add injury time and extend it like they did with like Tony Khan's done with others, just to keep him around?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sure that there are folks talking to him in WWE through Rhea.
Oh yeah,
to try to get him to come back.
Shoot, I would want Neville. Well, they would probably call him Neville again. I think it should be the Bastard Pack, but he needs to come back. Like, man, right now, him, Ray Phoenix, just him being there, he would be the next Eddie Guerrero. Dare I say it? In reference to the intensity of the matches and stuff like that, I think he would be phenomenal back in the day. Well, back in WWE, he was phenomenal back then. With what was his finish? Was it the something arrow?
Red Arrow.
Red Arrow, that's what it was.
Which he turned into the Black Arrow once he got to.
What's up, Anthony?
What's happening? But yeah.
What do you think? I was just saying she'd take like a couple of months off just to relax and hang out. But 9 months or 9 to 12 months, that's a significant absence for Rhea Ripley. You think they can weather that storm? I would say if anybody can get pregnant, it'd be Bianca.
So I'm sure that's coming too. Well, I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
She could. I think she could. It's about her time. If that's something she wanted to do.
If that's something that she wants to do, right?
Because she can afford to step away. It's not necessary.
I mean,
now,
she's pretty much stepped away already.
Naomi can't do it.
She's pretty much stepped away already for a finger. I mean,
right. That's what I'm saying. You might as well just go ahead and get it in where you fit it in. You know what I mean? Get that. Okay, there's something interesting there. Anthony's saying when he looks at Andrade, he sees more of Chavo than he does Eddie, and with Ray Phoenix. With Ray Phoenix, he sees a lot of psychosis. You get that kind of vibe. I can see Ray and psychosis. Andrade and Chavo.
Well, I mean, Andrade and Ray Phoenix are not. They look pretty good together. I mean, I don't know if they've ever. I can't recall if they've ever wrestled together back in the day at any point.
I'm quite sure at some point they have.
I don't know.
Not a consistent basis. I think they may have been teamed up.
I don't think Ray Phoenix was in CMLL when Andrade left. Or when Ray Phoenix came in, because Ray Phoenix is much younger than Andrade.
That's true. I don't know.
I mean, I could see the mentor type situation going on. I still want Andrade to start a Los Ingobernables faction within the WWE.
But then you have to get rid of the other faction. You can't have too many luchas. LWO could stay, but Legado del Fantasma has to go away.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I wouldn't do that.
That's three Latin groups. It's not going to happen.
It could.
Come on now. You say that with a straight face?
Yeah, I'm saying it with a straight face.
We're trying to get the Street Profits on a major paper.
Think about where the LWO is right now.
No, I'm saying, but the LWO would stay.
No, the LWO isn't really around.
True.
Come on now. When is the last time you've seen Rey Mysterio with those other two?
True. Well, because he doesn't need to be there. The Dom storyline isn't requiring him to be there.
And what are those other two guys doing? I mean, you saw them. You saw them when you saw them for the AAA show,
right?
But other than that, where do you see them on Speed? Other than Speed,
yeah, like I said, Speed. Anthony's talking about seeing it happen. Maybe Legado and LWO merge, then they could do the Ungovernable.
No, I could see LWO and Andrade merging.
Okay. And him taking it over?
And then I can see Andrade taking over LWO and turning it into Los Ingobernables faction.
Would that give us the Lucha Brothers back together?
And then that brings heat. That brings heat from Rey Mysterio being kicked out.
Right.
He turns those other two heel.
And brings in Dominic.
He could bring in Dominic.
We have the count.
Anna as well. So that could be something. Welcome back, KG. You came just in time. We're about to wrap this up and take the mothership out to the stratosphere. Anthony did say that Rey Mysterio said that eventually wants Santos to take over the LWO and take it to the next level if it's allowed, hopefully.
Well, that's feasible too. That's feasible.
And I like Santos Escobar. I like Legado del Fantasma. I thought they were pretty solid. They moved from NXT, got called up. They've been pretty, a tight-knit group of just getting done what they need to get done. And it just hadn't had the opportunity to move forward storyline-wise with the right situation. But KG, turning the tide here. We bought you some time. You're back.
My man.
So we need you to go ahead and say what you got to say to fulfill your obligation to the pay-per-view for premium live event for the day.
Okay. Had to give me some sugar because my blood sugar was low, so I had to give me a pinwheel.
Well, we can hear you eating it.
It's not a hot pocket. All right, here I am. Okay, the first match we picked was Solo versus Jacob Fatu. Nubian Sumo picked Solo. The People's Choice and myself picked Jacob Fatu. Solo wins. Second match, Oscar versus Jade Cargill. Sumo picked Oscar. Nubian Sumo, People's Choice and myself picked Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill wins. Now this is where the confusion comes in. We all picked Cena to win. So we got that.
Mm-hmm.
Here's where the confusion comes in because we had a tiebreaker. And it was Jey Uso versus Randy Orton, if I'm not mistaken. Or was it Randy? Who was it on Friday night to get to this match?
It was Jay and Cody.
Jay and Cody. And then Sumo picked Jay in that match. We both picked Cody. Then we picked Randy.
We picked Cody? Oh, yeah, for that match. But we picked Randy for the win.
Right. So that was going to be the tiebreaker. Say, I don't know how to count that.
No. Let me clean that up.
Okay, clean that up for me.
Because y'all decided y'all didn't want to do that. Y'all didn't want to.
Well, that was a tiebreaker for us.
That was okay. No. We never did a tiebreaker for all of us.
It was a tiebreaker for us too.
Him.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
The tiebreaker was the Wyatt Six versus the Street Profits.
Exactly. That was the tie. That was
a tiebreaker between y'all, you two.
I want the tiebreaker.
Because we had already established I only needed 2 wins. I only needed 2 matches to win it all. Where if you two had won 2 matches, then y'all needed the tiebreaker because y'all picked the same people.
Right. So that's why I wanted to come back on.
Y'all didn't want to include, because I was trying to include the semifinals into the decisions, but y'all didn't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's where y'all chose the Street Profits and the Y6 match.
And that knocked me out because, if I'm not mistaken, the Street Profits won, correct?
The Street Profits won. So if you two had gotten 2 matches over me, then that would have come into play. But it didn't, because I got Solo and I got Cody. Because I chose against Randy. I didn't pick Randy. Y'all picked Randy. I chose whoever was coming from that other match.
And he said exactly that. So I'm here to say, wait. I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please stand up and applaud your new world champion, the Nubian Sumo. I all I'm gonna say is, it was a good run. The belt made its appearances, all over the place, and I cut promos, and I'm your champion. But I take that. So you just we'll coordinate to when I need to relinquish the title. Drop it all. I'm okay.
Lord have mercy.
But no, Sumo, this is one of them ones where you had it right. I mean, I got you. What's our next pay per view? What's our next PLE?
Is it SummerSlam?
Is it?
I don't think, because it's August. Technically, yeah, it'd be SummerSlam.
Well, actually,
we're not going to count Evolution.
Pay-per-view would be
Evolution 2.
Evolution.
So I'm gonna ask now, are we picking Evolution?
No. Only reason why is because we don't even know what the heck they're doing and where they're going with it. I'd rather just enjoy Evolution. Truthfully.
Or
because we don't know what they go. I mean,
I want to be a fighting champion.
Oh Lord, you trying to do Saturday night's main event?
No.
NXT, the Bash.
All in.
I haven't watched AEW in so long. When is that? Is that next week?
July 12th, July 13th, whatever that weekend is, whatever it is, July 12th or the 13th, whichever one it is.
I don't know.
It's the same week. It's the same weekend as
everything
Saturday
else.
Night's main event, and
I'm not invested.
No. I'm sorry.
It is
the same weekend as Saturday Night's main event and Evolution.
Mm-hmm.
Great American Bash, all that. Yeah, it's the same weekend. So yeah.
I mean, it's up to KG. I mean, we can pick it. I just won't be the most educated of picks. Truthfully.
If the man wants to be,
you know me and how I like to go against the grain.
If the man wants to put his title up,
I'll put the title up at All In.
All right, wow. Then that's it. I mean,
KG about to go study hard.
he respected me enough to let me defend my title on Night of Champions. But see, being a champion, it wouldn't have been right if I didn't defend my title tonight.
Oh, don't you start today. You the one that you had an out. You chose to go ahead and do it.
You did have an out, though.
You had an out.
You did have an out.
But how can I erase that tag of paper champion if I don't defend my title?
True.
I gotta erase that tag.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're finally coming around after all that craziness you put us through. Glad you're coming around. So, well, I guess the background says it all. you know, the voice of the voiceless. The Nubian Sumo is your new Saturday night Wrestlemaniacs pick champion. So, you know, not only that, but he was able to just grace us with his presence on the background on a super overlay. So he is the guy at the moment. But as a fighting champion, that puts him at about a little over 14 days. And then title change hands. That's just how those things work. So until we get to that point, with all the stuff that's continually going on in the government, it's more and more important for you to freaking diversify your bonds.
Champ is here.
You
Konnichiwa,
gotta say the other
bitches.
part. Thank you.